Welcome to Happy Hour Holidaze, your go-to podcast for business, entrepreneurship, and life stories. I'm here, Manny Fresh, your host every week. We got our co-host, Sean Febre, and in studio today, we got two entrepreneur business. We got Judge Christine Edwards. Well, she will be a judge because we're going to put it into succession. And then we got Manuel Manna. He's on the board of GTAR for Government Affairs Committee. He's a CEO for Manna Homes. This guy does it all. He will close you on the street for your pants in 2 seconds. Don't be fooled. How are we doing today?
Well, it's not GTAR anymore, right? It's GAR.
GTR.
Is it in GAR now?
I don't think they've officially changed.
Oh, no. Oh, okay.
So going into it, I know, Christine, you're running for judge, seat 11.
Yes.
And you're doing the campaign. Just tell us a little bit about your backstory before we get into that right away. Sure. And what led you to, being a successful attorney and then being able to make that move to being a judge.
And starting your own practice as well.
Yeah. Thank you for asking. So I went to UCF. I graduated from UCF. Okay. And then I went to Stetson College of Law. I'm a Tampa native. Well,
heck yeah.
Brandon Valrico, which I think that qualifies.
We'll
right?
qualify, absolutely.
Hillsborough County native.
There we go. That's better.
Yes. So, this place is very near and dear to my heart. I started in criminal defense working for a badass lawyer, Ralph Fernandez. I'll give him a little plug there. Love Ralph. Did criminal defense for about 10 years working with him. And then I opened the civil litigation department at Jones Law Group before hanging my own shingle. I thought, hey, maybe I could do this on my own.
Yeah, and
before you started thinking about being Harvey Specter, Lewis,
I know,
and Jessica.
We watched that one. We're like, I got so much intel. Yeah. I know it was like, it's like you got to know how they become a partner, how they want their name on the wall and stuff like that. I mean, 500,000.
Yeah, it was 500,000.
I mean, to
be a name
to
partner.
be a main partner. Is that how it is, or is it
I don't
different?
Listen. I don't know.
I know it's a TV show, but is it kind of similar to what it is? Like, I know you went and opened up your own practice, right?
Yeah, Suits is really sexy, right?
Yeah.
It's not that sexy in real life.
Yeah.
Is there a lot of blackmailing going on?
No, there's not. No, nothing like that. No, but after you have practiced and you've had the benefit of having such great mentorship, you get confidence and you get ready and you think that, hey, maybe I could go do it on my own. So I felt ready at that time. The only thing that I didn't know was that a pandemic was waiting for me on the other end of opening up my firm. Yeah.
When did you start it?
So September 2019.
Oh, yeah. 6 months before.
Yeah. That's it.
Jeez.
And so, I didn't know whether or not Edwards Law was doing well or if it was, I didn't know because we were all doing something different. We were now Zooming, which is something that we had never done before in a courthouse, taking all the hearings online. So it was a little bit of a learning curve, but it survived.
You got through it, right?
It's all right.
Yeah. I did all right.
What made you want to go for public office? Because to be a judge, that means that you probably have an immaculate record as an attorney and you have never really done anything wrong in the court systems. What made you want to pursue this?
Yeah, so you're right. Like, you don't get here without the legal acumen and all the accolades and all the degrees and fancy stuff. For me, it's really about passion. I love practicing law. I love being in a courtroom. And at the end of the day, I'll tell you, the pandemic for me was sort of like opened my eyes because I thought, how do I get back into a courtroom and stay there all the time? How am I essential? How do I give back in the way that I feel like my talents are best served? And I knew eventually I would do it. I don't know if I would ever have felt this confident right now, but I'm ready for the position and I'm ready to do the job.
Was there any judgments that were passed that maybe you thought were unfair and you were like, you know what, if I was the judge, I would have ruled in this manner as opposed to the manner that it was ruled in previously? Is that kind of what sparked it a little bit, or?
I think yes. I think we're always, we're in our profession. We're always sort of looking at what other people are doing and criticizing it or saying, hey, I could do it, better, or maybe I would do it that way. Hey, look at that guy. He looks really good doing it and I should do it that way. But yes, there's been a lot of times when I've seen some things that I haven't necessarily loved. And I think that the diversity of practice is that you get the experience. So, after 12 years of being in the courtroom, I walk into the courthouse every single day. I represent this community and of lots of walks of life. And so, yeah, I see things that I think that, as an advocate, I try to do better. But, in a judge position, I think that it's more about making sure that everybody on both sides gets an equal shake. They get to come in and feel like they were heard.
And
I like that.
I guess you're going for seat 11, correct?
Yes.
So there's an incumbent there currently.
No, this was an open seat.
Oh, okay.
So this seat was the judge is retiring who's currently in this seat. And I have one opponent. So.
And Christine, for the audience out there, tell us a little bit about how the format is for a judge, so the audience is educated on, hey, how this works with seat 11 or seat 12 or how many seats there are. Can you give us a little breakdown of the whole kind of?
Yeah. Absolutely. So right now in this election, there are only 2 seats that are that are contested, I guess you should say. Me and seat 11, I have one opponent, and then there's one other race that's going on and actually a sitting judge in that position. So just 2. What's important for us right now is that we are in the primary. This is it for us. We don't go to November. There's no runoff. And so we really have to get people out to vote, either early voting, your mail-in, whatever it is. But August 20th decides both these judicial races, and it's done for us. And there are no other seats that are open. So like everybody else who had filed were either filing to keep their seats. Well, that's it. They filed to keep their seats, and they got their seats, and that's it. 2 races. That's it.
How long are these terms?
6 years.
Oh, wow. So it is substantial to win it and stay in there.
That's it.
So how many seats are there?
It's
got to be a lot, right?
It's over 20. Yes.
20. And does each seat, I guess, is it particular to one aspect of law, or is it you're judging on everything? Because I know before we started recording, you were telling us that you were going for civil cases or also criminal cases under $50,000, right?
Yeah, you got it. That's exactly right. So it's a countywide seat. So when you go to the polls, you're just electing whom you want to see in that position. And then the chief judge will then assign you to where he feels that you would best serve. So it could be, criminal misdemeanors. It could be traffic. It could be civil matters. It could be landlord-tenant. It could be a lot of variety of different things. Chief judge ultimately makes that decision. You just vote for who you want to see in that countywide seat.
Does the chief judge also get elected?
He does.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. So ultimately, is the goal to become chief judge and then Supreme Court justice?
No, not even.
No, I mean, the chief judge is like an administrative position within Hillsborough County. So we have a great chief judge, Judge Sabella, and he has been a judge for a really long time. And within Hillsborough County, his colleagues, the other judges here, take a vote and they decide who was going to be in that position. So it's not as if the people vote for that. It's more of a internal thing.
So like going for public office, it means that it's a very selfless position because you are serving the people. Has that, I guess, dawned on you that you're going to be there serving the people in their best interest, right?
Listen, I've served this community for the last 12 years and I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't want to serve the community.
Oh, man.
So let's take it back a little bit before you became an attorney and everything. What made you want to practice law?
That's a good one.
What's that pivotal point? Because, I mean, look, even when I think of myself when I was young, and I'm just like, what am I going to do?
You're not old, bro.
I'm old now, man. Once you get past the 30s, I feel like that's it, man. It's
all downhill from there.
People say the 40s and it's the 50s, but it's like, right now everything hurts when I wake up. So I'm thinking,
well, it's because you're really bad at golf. That's why.
Screw you. But I mean, what was that pivotal point where you're like, hey, this is what I have a passion for? I mean, it's extensive, to go to school and practice. And I mean, what made you want to go in that?
Would you believe me if I told you that I always wanted to be a lawyer?
Yeah,
I mean,
from the very beginning. And my dad even loves to tell a story about how I argued my way out of being grounded, and and I always feel like he tells that story because once you have a kid who goes off and becomes whatever they say that they're going to be, then it's oh yeah, I always knew that they were going to do that, right? It's oh yeah. But he always tells this story about even when I was younger, I was always advocating, always arguing, always fighting, and it just seemed pretty natural. I just fit right into it. So I think becoming a lawyer was the natural course for me. I studied it in undergrad. I went off to law school, and I wasn't like a real smart kid, like somebody that you would think.
Hard worker though, right?
But I had a tremendous work ethic.
yeah.
And
Oh,
so
I can attest to that as long as I've known her.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that brings me into another thing. Just a real quick segue. How do you know Manny Manna?
yeah, I've known Manny.
With one of the
Manny
best
Manna.
names
I
ever,
know.
Manny
Manny
Manna.
Manna, yeah.
I mean, even when I first met him, I was like, "Damn, you got a good name, man."
It is good, right? Yeah. Manny
That's
and
why
I-
now I've had to change it up professionally now to just Manuel.
Yeah, I
Manny-
saw the email. It said Manuel. It
Yeah.
didn't say Manny.
I had to change.
'Cause
Yeah.
we're professional now.
Yeah.
Gotta
We're
be.
not Manny and Chrissy anymore. We're Christine and Manuel.
Yeah, I like it. They look like they made a lot of
How
trouble.
do you know Manny?
No, we've been friends for 20 years. Back before she even before Stetson.
Yeah.
When she was when I was promoting at Jackson's.
Yeah.
Jackson.
Way back when, and she was a bartender.
Yeah, we were. I was in hospitality, worked for Jackson's for 8 years while I was finishing school and going off to law school.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm
And she was
sure
passionate about it
Christine
back
has seen
then.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's-
passionate about slinging drinks. Yeah.
I like it.
No, about the law. Don't let her throw you.
I mean, yeah, but slinging drinks, slinging bottles. I'm sure the tips weren't bad.
Oh, that was when Jackson's was.
What are we talking
Big.
about? 2007, 2008,
2006,
2006,
right
yeah.
around there. Yeah.
I mean, right when I graduated, it was Jackson's, Caddies, or
Yeah.
Krabby Bill's right there off of
Mhm.
Causeway. I mean,
Yeah.
it was great, and then they turned into
Whiskey Park South.
Whiskey
Whiskey
yeah,
Park.
Whiskey Park South.
That was the best.
Hey, but we got to give a shout out to our boy Fidel Gaines.
Yeah.
Hey, am I saying his name right?
I don't
Gaines?
know.
Is it Gaines?
Gaines.
Yeah, Gaines.
Gaines?
I don't know.
Gaines. Anyways, just because, he got us in a couple times for free at Jackson's.
Yeah, I know. Christina, did you know Fidel too?
I don't.
No,
I don't
no,
know.
no.
I don't.
You couldn't miss him. He
remember.
was a short guy with a
You met him
mohawk.
before.
He was a short
You
guy.
met
with a
him.
mohawk.
Yeah.
Sounds maybe.
Yeah.
He was always with all of us at Jackson's
Yeah.
back in that time
Oh,
period,
yeah.
man. It was all of us back then.
Oh, I know,
dude.
I know. It was a good group, and then you had, like you said,
Yeah.
Piper,
Mhm.
and then it was
It's Nocturnal.
Nocturnal
Yeah.
was the other guy too.
Yeah.
He was really good.
David Anderson.
Yeah,
and-
David
And
Anderson.
That's it.
Disgrace Franco.
Yeah.
Where he's hiding out.
Who's Disgrace Franco?
the
Actually, we don't
one
have to
from-
get into
well,
that.
One from what was it Franklin Manor?
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
the whole thing that happened.
Oh, yeah,
there.
the whole thing. And that was during the pandemic, I think.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Just segue
But,
real
let's
quick,
get away
Manny.
from that
Oh, I
then.
know, well, but just real quick, Manny. Tell us a little bit about you, and then what you're doing right now. I know you have a lot going on when it comes to real estate too.
Yeah.
So I know we're all in the real estate, So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit of how you got there. I know you're the ultimate salesman because you sold me at LA Fitness in 2 seconds. Was like, this is brand new. Where else are you gonna go? Okay.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I think I was still an undergrad back then. But no, what got me into real estate now full time was one. I mean, I come from that lineage. 3 generation of home builders. So
Oh, wow.
it was, finally getting to that point to where, what, I'm tired of working for somebody else, right? I know everything already. Let me just go out and, hang up my own shingle, so to speak, and got into that, got my license, and now we've built, not only a team under Keller Williams, give them a shout out. We love Keller. We'll never deviate from them. People say that we drink the Kool-Aid, but at the end of the day, we're always on top. So
That's true.
They got caps. They do have caps.
we
I mean,
have,
commission caps. Yeah.
we do have a cap to hit, right? But again,
Which is very moderate, too.
it is,
Yeah.
it
It's
is.
not like they make it an unreasonable number.
No, and the
Very
best thing is that we get profit sharing, right? We get a lot of incentives, right? And then every tool that we get, Keller invests a lot of money for us to have the best of everything when it comes to real estate.
And that includes the technology that they give
That's
you as well.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because
what I'm talking
that's
about.
one of the
Yeah.
biggest things when you look at the different brokers.
I remember it's called Live It or
I mean,
something.
they give you the technology that you
Live It.
need to be successful as well.
Right,
And
it's very basic.
and the education
Right.
too, which education's big for new agents too, because they really don't know what's going on. And you need that educational classes to kind of, succeed with so many realtors out
Right.
in the field.
And that's what's really happening right now, and that's what really got me into the politics of the association, of NAR.
Yeah, tell us about the politics in the.
I'd love to.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about Tampa, for example.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. My grandmother, right, lived in Riverside Heights. I think you guys
So that's like
probably
Temple
been by the
Terrace?
house before, huh?
Like Temple Terrace, right?
No. Right right off of Columbus in Hillsborough River.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, in North Boulevard, right there. Yeah. So, now, the property's worth, well over $1 million.
Yeah.
Okay. But even a couple of years ago, right, had she still been alive, right, she wouldn't be able to afford to live there. She'd be priced out. And this is what's happening. So this is why there's a lot of incentives now for affordable housing. But here's the thing. What investor really wants to, put up affordable housing and limit the amount of, income that they can be getting? Right?
Unless they're trying to do Section 8 and just,
Well,
make it like
right.
that's what affordable housing is, right? And isn't Section 8 actually a good tool for investors to utilize in order to guarantee rental income?
And you know what? I'm glad you brought that up. And because that boils down to representation.
You're welcome, Manny.
That boils down to representation, right? I'm sure everyone's been following along with the commission lawsuits, the MLS right now removing compensation, right, from being disclosed, right?
Buyer compensation.
So,
Even sellers?
they're not going to be listing any compensation anymore.
on the
period.
MLS.
Holy shit.
So, right, there's almost every single agent I know, right, except for the few mentors that I've known for quite some time that have been doing this for 4 years, right, don't even have their buyers on their contracts. They don't know how to get their buyers on their contracts. They don't provide the skill set to have somebody sign that contract to pay them. So buyers agents have always relied on the sellers, right? I don't agree with that. Why should I have to have my seller, right, pay both sides when I'm going to do all the work anyways? Especially on an investor level. You know what I'm saying? Think about that. But now, with that being put in place, everyone is scrambling. You should see the forums, okay? And everyone's trying to teach a class now on how to get it done. And, they can't even get them to sign the minimum requirement, in which is called the no brokerage relationship, right? Just to go show a house. Because now they can't even, because if you're not representing them, if there's nothing in place, okay, right, you are not following, right, proper procedure.
When we get back from a break, we'll continue with this discussion with Manny Manna and Christine Edwards. We'll be right back. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Check out all our reels. We're on Spotify, all the major platforms, and vote for us on Creative Loathing, Best in the Bay. We'll be right back. We're back with Happy Hour Holidaze, and we got Manny Manna telling us a little bit about, I'm sure everybody's heard about the whole commission being shown on the MLS, et cetera, with a lot of stuff going on.
That had to do with the lawsuit against NAR.
Yeah.
Right?
Against
National Association.
Oh, what you were saying, Manny.
No, that was against NAR and all big brokerages that have ownership in MLSs.
But you were also talking about the disclosure agreement.
No, yeah. So there's a no brokerage agreement that, because if you don't have a brokerage buyer's agreement signed, right, you need to have this to go show a property, because you're not representing them. You follow me? There's they don't have a relationship with your brokerage. So in order to, I guess, reduce liability, I don't want to dig too much into that because it's still, the DOJ is still investigating a lot of that stuff. So, but for the most part, that's how it's coming down to, and it's hurting a lot of people. It's hurting a lot of sellers, And it's hurting a lot of buyers, agents that are now scrambling to, I guess, step their game up.
Gotcha. Yeah, no.
All right, so then pivoting over back to legal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when
So
it
now
comes,
we know the backgrounds from both of our guests here.
yeah.
Have you guys ever worked together? In a professional capacity with law and real estate?
If she was still practicing, I definitely would hire her.
Yeah, I did stop taking clients.
Yeah.
Yeah, to run the campaign because that's a full-time job in and of itself. And Edwards Law, was my baby. So I haven't been taking on any new clients.
Do you have any partners in your law firm?
I don't. I am the secretary, the legal assistant, and the janitor.
Holy shit. So she's making all the money. She's smart sometimes. I mean, you
You gotta
gotta
love
work.
the humility.
Yeah.
Perfect person for that judge seat.
Yeah.
Manny.
And which Manny? Manny 1 or Manny 2? Or
That one.
No, thank you both. Thank you both.
So then, like, what are some of the things that you're like? Are you making events? Are you fundraising? How exactly are you campaigning?
All things.
All those things.
All those things. Yeah. Nobody really prepares you for what the trail looks like. A lot of people have an opinion about it, but it's not until like the very end where things get real. And so now it's like 2 to 3 events a day,
Oh, wow.
fundraising,
shit.
reaching out to people, getting endorsements, talking to the paper, talking to all kinds of papers, canvassing door to door,
So
Yes.
you're door
Yeah,
knocking?
door knocking.
No way.
Yeah, people still like to see that you're out there, you're sweating, and you're doing the work. They
I
like
wonder
to
what
see
kind
that.
of conversations do you have when you go door knocking with these? What do you call?
Can you guys post a link?
Well, I guess
Yeah,
it depends, right?
yeah,
Like
sign
the
up
younger
to volunteer.
people,
Yeah.
like I would say my generation does not want you knocking on their door.
Yeah, I know.
And they are quick to not answer the door, so they get like a door tag. But, some of the older voters really love to engage.
Yeah.
And so they're into like having a conversation with you.
What kind of conversations are you having with these?
What I see
voters?
mostly right now is that we're so polarized with this election that's happening in November that people are very interested in seeing where we fall on a political spectrum, whether I'm pro-Trump, pro-Biden, and, the judicial canons prevent me from discussing any of that kind of thing. I'm not party affiliated. And so I
Same
think that
here.
they get disappointed because I can't
Didn't
get
something
into
come
all
up
that.
recently where they were trying to make the running party
Oh, the
affiliated?
school board. Yeah, they're doing it with the
that's
school
right.
board.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right.
So
I always
Not the
wondered
judges.
why a lot of candidates at a local level can't disclose whether they're progressive or conservative or moderate or independent. It always shocked me because it was like, okay, well, like, so for instance, Mayor Jane Castor.
Mhm.
Technically, she is not party affiliated because she is at a local level. And I guess municipalities have restrictions. Do you know why they have those?
Well, I can only speak to judges. I know judges have not only their local rules, but judicial canons that we have to follow. But that's how you want it though, right? Like
Yeah.
you don't want somebody in my position or hopefully my position to have already passed judgment or to have a bias walking in.
Based on red or blue. Yeah.
Right.
That's what I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
in that specific position, you really do want somebody who's coming to the table who's open and unassuming, right? So for that purpose, I that's why it's there. It's not just local stuff. We are governed by the Florida Bar, the Judicial Nominating or Qualifying Commission. All those things are kind of overseeing what we're
Especially
doing.
when you're talking about the judicial branch, it should be impartial and it should just read the letter of the law.
That's
Absolutely.
exactly right.
Yeah.
But as we all know, the letter of the law is very gray.
and is
Yes.
open for
As soon-
interpretation.
It's open. If any ambiguity is shown,
Mhm.
it could go left, it could go right, it could go right down the middle. Anything can happen. I guess if you were elected judge, I know that you have to interpret the Constitution and the laws. What exactly are your determining factors when you are passing judgment?
The law always is supreme, right?
Yeah.
Whatever the law says. But you're going to have lawyers like me right now who come before the court and argue positions. And that's what you rely on. You rely on the lawyers to come before you and give you the information that you need. And you also have to use a little bit of your own common sense. And you have to be prepared. So what I can tell you from practicing, I always know a judge that walks into the courtroom for the very first time and has not read my motion and has not read the case law and has not read all of the 500 things that I've appended to it. I know. And so I would like to bring to the bench something different where I walk in and I say, okay, guys, here's where I'm hung up. I'm hung up on this issue. I've read this case. I've read this case. I've read what you have appended. And here's why I can't give you a ruling right now. So let me hear from you guys about that issue, right? That takes your hour-long hearing time, cuts it into, we're only talking about the issues that the court needs to make a decision. Let's hone it in. I don't need you to regurgitate what you wrote to me. I read it.
Yeah, so
Right?
I mean, you're reading both of the cases, and you're just like, okay, this is the point right here that we
This
need to
is what I-
discuss.
yes.
Everything else is okay,
Exactly,
and
right?
that-
I think that's
so.
been-
That's what's not going on right now.
Well, I think that there is, it could be better.
Yeah,
It could be better if you really walked in there and said, this is what I need from the parties to understand and to be able to make a decision for you. You want to walk out of here with the decision today? This is where I'm hung up, right? And then we really farm out the issue. We really get to the bottom of it. We get to the crux of it. We don't need to spend an hour talking about what you wrote me. I got it, right? Let's get down to it. Let's really talk about it. Let's litigate it.
are those more of the biggest challenges with our judicial system right now in our county?
Yeah, timing.
Yes.
Timing.
Timing is everything.
We need change. I'm sorry. We do. We need change.
Oh, don't be apologetic.
You know,
Oh,
we
no.
need change. We need someone who has
You have
these
to
kind of
hone it.
viewpoints.
We
We need
gotta
a new
do better.
generation in there. That's,
Well, we got to hone it, right? Like the system's in place and it works with the best judiciary. Listen, I'm not critical of the 13th Circuit. I love the 13th Circuit. I love being a part of it as a litigant.
I don't know. Hillsborough sends more people to prison than anybody else, any other county.
What's the 13th Circuit exactly?
That's Hillsborough County.
That's Hillsborough County?
Yes, yeah. And we have our own circuit because we're so big. And I know because when you're running a campaign, you have to go to North Tampa and Sun City Center and all
Valrico and
Yes,
stuff.
I mean, it's bigger than you would think.
Lithia.
Yeah. But yeah, timing is
City.
timing is the most crucial part I think that we face in docketing because with tort reform especially, we are so backlogged. And so as a litigant, if you're not going into criminal court where you have a 30-day review, you're waiting 90 days to get a hearing? You think somebody wants to walk into court and not walk out with a decision? No, you got to be ready. Those people have waited to see you. You got to be prepared. You got to be ready, and you got to be ready to give them a decision.
Christine, are we lacking technology in the court system currently? I mean, is that going to play a very modern role
You should see
Yeah,
I
moving forward?
And I'm having to wait way longer because they're backlogged so far.
Is
You know what I'm saying?
technology
Yeah.
really a
She's-
crutch for the judicial system?
So I think, the pandemic taught us that we can do it differently. We're so used to running in and out of the courthouse and trying to be in 10 places at one time. The pandemic showed us that we could do it by a Zoom. And so what you're seeing is a lot of judges who are moving away from always being in person to a more Zoom platform. And I think that's what we're seeing more of. Very efficient in some ways, not efficient if you're trying to have a trial, not efficient if you're trying to have an evidentiary hearing. Those need to be in person.
What is an evidentiary hearing?
Sort of like a mini trial. So if you have an issue where you're going to call witnesses, you're going to take testimony, that needs to be live. You got to be able to grab your file, impeach them. You got to be able to grab your file and say, hey, do you remember back when you... Listen.
Wait a second.
I don't remember.
I'm feeling judged right now.
I got that depo that you took a year ago right here in my file. You can't do that on Zoom, right? But Zoom is great for docketing, right? I'm running in and saying, hey, we're still doing discovery. I need another date. Or, hey, can I get a trial date? Something easy. Zoom is great. Otherwise...
Why do you think that is exactly? That the whole entire process couldn't be done through Zoom? Is it just because you are more able to grasp the emotion of the person that you're speaking to? Is that what it is?
Credibility is one of the most important things that a court has to decide, right? So you have 10 witnesses, and I don't think that even as a lawyer that you can really grasp the veracity of whether or not they're telling the truth, whether or not you believe them. And that sometimes is how cases are figured out.
You would say even more with criminal defense, because
100%,
there's a lot of emotion in there than dealing with a traffic citation or something like that. I mean,
you're really technically criminal traffic citation.
Okay, I was going to say something a little bit tougher. Okay, go fuck yourself. But how do you plan to engage with the local community to build trust if elected as judge?
So. Holy cow, Manny.
Yeah, I love that question.
Holy cow.
I love that question.
Good.
ChatGPT is awesome.
Fuck you.
Is that where it came from? I love that. I haven't gotten used to. I haven't ever used.
Well, I do it for all the guests. I like to have my questions that I come up with my own that are Mickey Mouse.
Oh, we can tell which we got the ones that
are.
I've known you 20 years too, so yeah.
Manny knows. Manny, no, Manuel.
It's a zinger.
No.
You're on the clock. 30 seconds.
Here we go.
Repeat the question one more time. Go on.
No. Well, she understood the
trust.
question.
I got it. Listen, I work in a very special court, Marchman Court. And I know we talked just briefly about this before we came on. Marchman Court deals with people who are suffering from substance abuse disorders and mental health. These are the most vulnerable people in our community. I carry a caseload of almost 300 at a given time of people in this community that I represent. If I can gain their trust, these are the most critical of our justice system, the most, the ones that don't believe that anything good ever happens when you walk into a courtroom, the ones that are scared, the ones that risk their entire livelihood. These are my clients. These are the people that I represent. If I can gain their trust, this community can trust me moving forward.
How do you gain a client's trust? I mean, I'm sure they're interviewing somebody who's done a crime. How, you did criminal. So how do you gain that trust with somebody who wants to hire you previously to, now being a judge or becoming a judge? How did you do that, to convince them to, hey, choose me to represent you because I believe in you? Or is there clients where you're like, man, I know this fucking guy did it. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
How about this? She's good enough at closing as I am.
Yeah. Well, I assume that because, she's running for judge now, You got to be good at it.
You got to have heart. I think that people can see that you have heart.
Yeah.
Communication, setting expectations. I always tell my clients straight out the gate exactly what they can expect from me. And that definitely levels the play. They know exactly what they're getting from me and exactly what I can't deliver. I can't do this for you, but I can do this. That sets it up. Communication, setting expectations, compassion. Listen, I walk into the courthouse with you and hopefully I walk out with you, and being there, available for them, and walking that with them in their most dire times. I think that you really have to be it's like getting a tattoo on your forehead. You got to be all in.
Holy shit.
Damn, that's the best way to fucking do this.
So I can say this. Hey,
that was good.
Everybody,
I'm not all in.
You got to be committed.
I don't even know what to get.
she's probably one of 5 people that I trust wholeheartedly. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
Just.
I can see it. All right. So let me ask a question. This is more so outside of your running for judge. Just a general question about lawyers. So what I've noticed from people I've spoken to is that lawyers tend to have depot after depot until they're paid by the client, correct? Before judgment is passed. Is that true or untrue?
Depot after depot?
Yeah.
Like
deposition?
discovery?
Well, they call it discovery, but there's nothing to discover because the client hasn't paid their full fee, and the lawyer kind of just keeps pushing it.
To get more money?
No, not to get more money. They say, hey, you owe me $4,000. That's how much it's going to cost for this criminal case. And then until the $4,000 is received, the lawyer keeps asking for deposition after deposition after deposition. And then once they receive the $4,000, magically now there's a judgment.
You need a new lawyer.
I don't have a lawyer. No. But this is what they've told me. This is what they've told me. They said, dude, I always pay. And they're not friends of mine. They're acquaintances. As soon as they make the full payment for what was agreed upon in whatever the agreement is, I don't know what it's called, then all of a sudden judgment day comes. Is that a general practice of lawyers? No?
Absolutely not.
Oh, shit.
Can I actually put that into something, So let's have an example of an investor, right, acquiring a property, okay? And you have a wholesaler, right, that came in and undervalued it by hundreds of thousands of dollars. We see that all the time. Okay?
Common.
So then what happens is someone like me will come in and actually disclose the proper, right, the proper value and work it correctly. As a licensed, real estate agent, okay, we have to follow the law, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. We have to transact the real estate transaction, plus and this is one of my specialties, is loss mitigation, foreclosure, things that are going into, foreclosure, things of that nature. So with that being said, they're filing these memorandums, okay, these wholesalers, illegal real estate practices, okay, on these properties. These are the right type of things that are holding up people like us, people that are buying these, distressed properties, okay, to actually turn into something that could be affordable housing. But yet now we got to spend thousands and thousands of dollars because the system is taking so long.
Well, I guess the parallel sort of is if you're doing good work and you're doing honest work, then the money isn't a factor into it.
I'm not exactly sure I grasp it.
When we get back, we'll try to grasp it.
Let me rework that.
Keep listening to Happy Hour Holidays. We'll be right back with The Grasp. All right, guys, we're back to Happy Hour Holidays, and we were kind of discussing real estate when it came into that example that you were talking about. But we're just going to segue a little bit into this mental health and substance abuse, and I wanted to hear the story.
Why'd you look at me when you said that?
Sorry, substance abuse. Guy cracks open a White Claw when he gets out of bed.
Hey, what do you have right next to you, bro?
2 drinks. But we were talking about mental health, and it's big in this generation, especially at this point in time. And I know you did a lot of law when it came to this, and you had a great story that you kind of touched on off air, and we want to hear it about Uncle Bobby.
Uncle Bobby, my favorite story. And, when you were asking me earlier about why I became a lawyer, this wasn't exactly why I became a lawyer, but it was why I stayed a lawyer. So Uncle Bobby went to prison. He was sentenced to 30 years on a drug charge. And when as it happens, when people are suffering through substance abuse disorders, he was estranged from the family. I was in law school and I started getting jail mail, which is a real thing.
Holy shit.
And jail mail would come every day.
What is jail mail?
Jail mail comes from the jail.
Mail from
and
prisoner,
and he would write me, and he would write me daily, weekly, all the time.
No way.
And when you're kind of sort of, you're caught up. At the time, my grandparents were ill, and my mom was a little bit resentful that he wasn't around, and so I didn't open the jail mail. I just kind of threw it to the side. I didn't know later on in practice that jail mail was like a real thing. Like I get letters from inmates all the time. Like not uncles, just people just write me. I didn't know that at the time. I would just put it in a pile and I'd let it sort of, grow. Then one night after a couple of glasses of wine, I opened up the jail mail. And
Took a couple glasses.
I was in law school. I was
in
in law school. And that sort of, in opening that mail, it opened up a can of worms. So I started reading his mail and started going through it. And at the time, I was working for Ralph, and I was a runner. This is when there was no electronic filing. Somebody had to physically go pick up the pleadings and take them down to the courthouse and file them. And that was my job while I was working in law school. And so I would pick up the pleadings and take them down to the courthouse, file them, and then hang out on the second floor, which is the clerk's office, and go through Bobby's file. I did that for about over a year, building a case. And I sort of roughed up the best I could as a law student, a post-conviction motion challenging his 30-year sentence on his drug charge.
Can I ask what the drug charge was?
Methamphetamines.
Is it like distribution or?
Yeah, trafficking.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But there was an error.
Was that a heavy sentence for that kind of charge?
Well, it was it was a high. It was on the higher end. The problem is that the FDLE report didn't have him with that much grammage. You can say grammage.
Yeah.
When they sentenced him, they had announced to the court that he had over 300 grams of methamphetamines, when in reality it was about 32 grams. And I know that I am.
That's a big difference.
It's a huge difference, and it's the difference, but especially to a court. They called it a Scrivener's error. I beg to differ and did beg to differ in writing the motion. And I took it to Ralph because I was still in law school, right? You can't sign things if you're in law school. And I knew it was rough.
Unless you're Mike Ross.
How'd you know how to read that whole book?
That was great.
I love that show, man.
I do love that show.
It really makes me want to go back to school and get my law degree.
Man, that would have been awesome. Yeah,
It would have been cool, to be a lawyer. Anyway.
Tattoo on the forehead. Tattoo
tattoo
on the
on the
forehead.
commit.
Yeah,
No tattoo. Fuck
So
that.
I was talking to my wife the other day, man.
32
She's been inspiring me. I literally have enough credit hours to go directly into the JD program.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I know.
Tattoo forehead.
Tattoo on the front.
And then compete for seat 11.
Right.
Yes.
We got the shirt back there. We got Christine Edwards from Judge Hillsborough County. We're
And
sporting
that's
it
Manny's
hard.
shirt, yeah.
No, man, we all had to dust off our, like our old kind of promotion, event planning skills from back in the day, and how can we utilize this on a professional level?
Yeah, keep it work, right.
I need one of those for the gym.
I got you.
Yeah,
I got
that'd
you,
be-
boo.
All right, so then it was 32 grams instead of 300.
Amongst other things. So I had a year hanging out at the courts, at the clerk's office, trying to put this together. And I took it to Ralph and I said, listen, I know you're going to think I'm crazy and I know it's my uncle, but just look into it. Just look at what I've done. Look at what I've put together. And he, entertained me and he said, okay, all right, kid. And he always just say, all right, kid, I'll take a look at it. And he did. And he went in and he helped hone all that research and all the work that I had done into a very long 3850. And we filed it. And a 3850 is a post-conviction motion. It's filed 100% of the time you go to jail, prison, and it's granted 1% of the time.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Shit.
Yes.
So we filed it and we waited. We waited for 2 years
Doesn't that
before it
seem a
came
little
up for review.
slow?
Real slow.
That's
But because
that's
imagine,
normal.
everybody files them. If you go to prison or you go to jail, you file a 3850. It's just part of, you have to challenge, you want post-conviction relief. You want some sort of relief. So we waited. By the time we came up for hearing, I was a lawyer. Not a real great lawyer, baby lawyer.
Maybe
I think it was about 9 months.
She was a female.
Either
Mike
way, you were
Ross.
doing it for free for
Yeah,
Uncle Bobby. He wasn't planning on doing it, right?
That's true.
Mike Ross, or not Mike Ross, I'm sorry, Bobby wasn't going anywhere.
He wasn't going anywhere, but I was a lawyer at the time that it came up for hearing. It was set on at the end of May of the following year that I graduated from law school. And I thought, yeah, this is awesome. Ralph's going to go in there. He's so badass. He's going to tell him what's up. And the night before the hearing, he said, hey kid, you're going to handle this. And I thought, you can't possibly send me in there. I had this much experience, and I think I had been in front of a court maybe enough times I could count on, 2 hands. And
How
I
nervous
thought,
were you?
nervous, didn't sleep, didn't eat, threw up in the bathroom at the courthouse.
Had your uncle's sentence in your hand.
It was wild.
Holy shit.
So they bring all these people back from prison, right? Buses of them. They bring them all back to tell them, thank you for filing your 3850. It's denied. And you go back to where you came from. They do that with a busload of people. And they call my uncle's case at the end. And they bring him out without all the other people. And the judge says, I've reviewed this motion and I want to hear from the parties. And I thought, no, you don't.
Don't make me talk, damn it.
And I haven't seen Bobby in years.
Really?
And
It's
here
been-
he
shit.
is. He comes back and he's looking at
Did he
me
even
like,
know you filed the 3850 or no?
you know what? I don't know, to be honest. I don't even know that I started to communicate with him, but I don't know that I had told him because I didn't want to get his hopes up.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
knew
Yeah,
that this
yeah.
was a losing game. I didn't think for
1%. I mean, you're
I didn't
talking
think
about
for-
fuck.
I mean, you just had to do what 99%. Whoa.
Yeah, exactly. but there was never, in my mind, there was never a place or a thought that like this was going to go down the way that it went down. You know, I was thinking like, hey, I did my very best for you. I fought for you. And that would have been true, right? I worked my ass off for it, but it just didn't work out. And I'm really sorry. And that was going to be the conversation that we had. And here we are, getting ready to argue this motion and talk to the judge about what's going on. And he's in the box and he's looking at me and he's like, what's going on? And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I have no idea what I'm doing, you know? And we did it and we were successful. And yeah.
So
he got released that day?
So, well,
No
yes,
way.
sort of. What happened was the court said that she believed that, you know, he was serving an unjust sentence, an unconstitutional sentence. And she says, you know, she looks at all of us and she goes, does anybody have any like plea forms? Because I'll renegotiate. Like, if you guys want to enter into a plea deal, like to give the state and me an opportunity to renegotiate the deal. She's like, I'm open to hearing that. And I'm like, I don't think that's right. I think that it needs to go back to the trial court. And everybody in the room was so confused about what was going on because it had never happened before. And we were all sort of shuffling around and she commuted a sentence. She vacated a sentence. And then she said, okay, well, we'll send it back to the trial court. And then I thought, that's not a good idea either. I don't really like that idea either. And so we negotiated it to time served, and she released him to 5 years. He did serve time. He should.
How much time did he serve?
He served 5 years.
5 years.
That's better than
So-
30.
So then was it commuted down to 5 years and then?
Yeah, it was
credit time
vacated.
served?
Right, it was vacated, and then she went ahead and entered into the
Time
agreed
served.
the agreed bargain, which was for the time served, which was 5 years. And then what I did not know, again, because I'm a baby lawyer and don't know anything, is that you have to go back to wherever you came from. Like, you don't just get to walk out of jail. Like, that doesn't happen. That's all in people's mind. You got to go back where you come from because they have to process you. So he has to go back to Blackwater. And that, to me, you would have thought that the whole world was going to end because I thought he's home. We're not sending him back to Blackwater.
What's Blackwater?
Is a prison. And so I fought for that, stayed down at the sheriff's office fighting for that, and they were waiting for the records to clear, and you have to get clearance from DOC, and all this red tape is happening. And would you believe I was candy crushing at the sheriff's office.
The game.
Oh,
The game.
yeah.
Candy crushing.
I was like, what? The?
Yeah, candy crushing
I was
at
like,
the
what drug
sheriff's
is
office.
that? I was like, yeah.
Because I would go and hang as long as he was at the jail, every time I got off of work, I would go down there and hang out and try to like tell people that they had to release him because I was like, I want a motion, and I would tell everybody, right? I would tell everybody down at the jail, I want a motion, you got to let him out. The judge said you got to let him out. And they're like, that's not how that works. Like, you got to get clearance from all these other people. And then I was sitting there playing the game on my phone, and I got one of those texts from, you remember the Vine system? It's like you can like
Do it for the
Yeah, where you
Vine.
can track an inmate.
You can track an
notifies
inmate.
you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So like you can like, you know, plug in the information, their number, their inmate number, and then they'll give you updates when they get moved. So if they get moved from a different facility, it'll update you. It's for victims, really. It's for them to know like where they are. And here I am, and I get a notification on Vine. I completely forgot that Bobby was even in that I had even done that with Bobby.
Yeah.
And it said, inmate so-and-so has been released from DOC custody. So I'm like, oh, here we go. So I go and I told the lady at the place, I'm like, he's really released. Like, they told me, you can let him out now. Like, they thought I was so crazy, but
That's impressive.
I actually got to walk him out of Hillsborough County Jail.
Well, what did you do?
You believe.
I believed. Yeah.
Dude,
Not only that, but
that's-
you gave him 25 years
That's
of his
so
life.
Okay, so let me
rare
tell you-
what she pulled
I
off,
know.
dude.
Okay, so forget
Bro,
about...
literally, she ain't wrong, bro. It's 1%.
She gave the guy 25
would you
years
do the
back.
same thing if it wasn't family?
Ooh.
I think she would.
I think I would
I've
too.
known her after 20
Depending,
years.
I mean, if you
After
really
20
thought,
years?
if you really believe.
I would. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
do a lot of pro bono work.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, this was special because of what it was. Okay, so let me tell you the best part of the story.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So Bobby gets released from prison. Okay. And in the, I won't say sunset because like we're almost getting to this age, but he was in his 50s. and he had never had children before.
Yeah.
And for the first time, he gets out of prison. He gets a job. He keeps a sober life.
Wow.
He has 2 children in his
wow.
50s. The first one he names after me.
No way.
Oh,
Oh,
that's dope.
Damn, the story that was a good story.
That
huh?
is a good
I
story.
I mean, 1%, and then you get a baby named after you. You're a fucking trooper right there because of the belief.
But
Man,
that's the repay, right? Like that's the gratitude.
Yeah.
Like how do you repay somebody for that? That's what you do.
I mean,
And he's been good ever since, right?
He has a job, a house, the kids, a picket fence, the whole thing.
I mean, you gave him 25
A whole
Dude, that's a
years.
sign right there,
25
man.
I know,
years was
man.
like
That's a
that.
sign that she's destined for bigger things.
She's destined to be Hillsborough County Judge.
Yep.
11.
Yep.
Fucking vote right now. Get wherever you're at. Vote.
Let me ask you a question.
How do you vote?
So
How
on
do you vote?
August 20th,
Yes.
is that that? I didn't even know there was an election day, August 20th.
I know, the primary, yeah.
Yeah, I did not know that. Do you have to be party affiliated to vote?
No, this is a countywide seat, so everybody will be no matter what party you're in, will get a ballot with my name on it. And this is why this is so important. I'm so glad you brought it up. I am not going to see you guys in November on a ballot.
See, that's what I thought it would be on. But
This
it's
is the
not.
only
Yeah.
chance you get to vote for this seat.
And you have to go to your voting district precinct,
So if you
right?
So if you haven't requested your mail ballot and you're not going to do that, you can do early voting. 2 weeks prior to August the 20th, you can do early voting and you can vote at any precinct.
How do you request it?
Yeah, how do you request?
You got to go on the supervisor of elections and ask for it.
There you
Oh,
go.
okay.
Yep.
They don't just send that out.
No, they used to, but not anymore.
But they're gonna have the signs like they usually do at all the precincts, and then
Yeah,
you're gonna be
like
able to
you'll
go
know,
there.
right?
And,
Yeah, and then on
because
August the
they'll-
20th, on August the 20th, you have to go to your precinct, like wherever they tell you got to go. That's where you got to go. You could do early voting, and then you could go to
They could check her
mine's
Facebook
like 2
page.
minutes away, so I would.
Vote-
definitely- I'm
Mine's,
definitely-
Everybody
mine's in
for
my
judge.
neighborhood.
I'm just gonna vote for her and leave all the other stuff blank.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't really give a shit about the other
I'm
shit.
okay
Yeah.
with that.
Do you,
Yeah.
know, do you know what other seats are being voted for, or is
All
it-
of them, right?
All of them, yeah. I mean, most people. Okay, so what happens is you usually go to a runoff in November. So let's say 3 or 4 people got into the race that I'm in. We would go in the primary, people would vote, and the top 2 people would go to the runoff in
because
November.
there's only 2.
But because there's only 2, it's done for us. So you're gonna see all the people that you see campaigning right now are going to be on that ballot. But if there's more than 2 people in that race, you'll see them again in November.
Wow.
I won't have that option.
Do you have a campaign manager?
I do.
Okay.
I have 2 of them.
So then, like,
You have
need
2
a
of them?
campaign manager
Yes.
to run a campaign. Do you think
I'm sorry.
you need a campaign manager to run a campaign?
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's not a professional campaign manager. She's
Well,
good point.
She's the person
or
running.
like the movies of anybody can do your job. You, what do you do? I went to sports management.
you do.
Are you talking about the
movie
Will
kid,
Ferrell
Will Ferrell.
Zach
He's like,
Galifianakis?
anyone could do your job. Anyone.
Well, that's kind of like Moneyball too.
Okay, wait, that was
The campaign.
yeah.
yes,
Campaign,
and
yeah.
that is the most accurate depiction
I would say politics.
of what
I love
it
that.
really
Yeah,
is.
yeah, he's like-
it's just crazy.
DC, it's a mess. Bring your brooms. It's a mess.
Did he ever say "Welcome to the fucking show"?
That was a great movie. I probably watch it whenever I'm bored. I watch that
That
movie
is a
all the
good
time.
movie.
I do it when I need to feel sort of like rejuvenated from
Yeah.
the exhaustion that comes with.
I mean, how many hours are you putting in? I mean, we're talking about campaign. I mean, I know you put in a ton of
80 a week.
hours
Full-time.
before, but I mean, is it? Yeah,
It's
is it
full-time.
it's 80, but is it like 40?
It's gotta be
40 is
80 a
like
week.
full time for most people. So is it more than 40?
It's gotta
With
be.
the events, yeah, absolutely. I've been very blessed. I have a great committee that takes a lot of responsibility. I have great campaign people that are managers that are helping me, so I can continue to work because I do still work. I
I
don't
thought
take
you
new.
said you couldn't practice. Why?
Yeah, no, I don't take new. I haven't taken new clients, but I still
Oh,
work for the
okay.
state of Florida in my position. I had to resign to run, but my resignation isn't effective until the end of the year. So I still go to the courthouse every other day and still do that stuff. But yeah, it's a full-time job.
But going from the beginning, why did you choose criminal? Okay, when we get back, we'll talk a little bit more about why Christine decided to choose criminal and also mental wellness and substance abuse as far as the legal portion of what she decided to do instead of doing, like, let's just say corporate business or whatever it is. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Happy Hour Holidaze. It's your host, Manny Fresh here. We're talking with Christine Edwards right there. She's going to be the new judge, seat 11. We already know.
We're voting for her.
We're voting for her. I'm going to the ballot. I'm just going to fill in her name, and that is it. Everybody else, go fuck yourself.
Dude, I've been forcing all my clients to put signs on their houses.
Forcing. Great. We're coercing people now.
I'll take a sign if you want one. I'll put it on my house.
I'll put one in front of my house.
Listen, my trunk is full of swag, so you just come out and we can shop.
Oh,
do you have a yard sign though?
Yes, I'll give you a yard.
I'll put one in
yard
front of my
signs in my
house.
trunk.
You take Venmo, right?
It's
Wait, we gotta pay for
it. It's free for you, boo. It's
Son,
free.
you're gonna have a shirt today.
Hey, no, but a small campaign donation of $1 million.
That's where it gets in, huh?
That's it. No, I got you. Listen,
right.
you could. There's all kinds of things in there. Pens.
Yeah, so I mean, as a Tampa native, Christine, think about it. How much has Tampa evolved in your eyes?
It's wild,
Right?
especially
think
where I
about that.
grew up.
Where'd you go to high school?
Bloomingdale.
Oh,
I love that golf
I thought you
course
said
out
about
there.
Rico though.
That is far.
Isn't
Yeah.
Bloomingdale its own city?
No, Bloomingdale's high school is in Valrico, which is weird.
Oh
It's
shit!
just on Bloomingdale Road.
Yeah, and
Or
okay,
whatever.
and speaking of how it's changed, when I went to high school,
Orange Fields?
yes,
Yeah.
cattle
yeah,
actually,
cattle,
and
yeah.
it was one way in and one way out. But I mean, it was one way this way and one way the other way. Now Bloomingdale is like what?
Huge.
Four
Oh my
lanes?
God, yeah.
It's
Yeah,
and every
the
time I go,
traffic's ridiculous.
and that's why. Listen, I love my parents. I love to go home, but
Sounds
getting
like she
there-
doesn't.
No, I do. I didn't know that I would enjoy going home as much as I do as being older, right?
Yeah.
It's
It's
refreshing.
so comforting to go home because I
Yeah.
couldn't wait to get out of there.
Yeah,
right? When I was
yeah.
younger, like, get me the
Get
hell
me
out of there.
yeah, I want my own privacy. I'm like, I don't know how people move back after you moved out on your own, because for me, it's like as soon as I could get out of there, I'm out.
You really
Yeah.
didn't go much further than Tampa, bro.
I moved out at
No,
18
no.
immediately. My parents
That's what I'm
for
saying.
like
I
almost
mean,
a year.
as soon as
Yeah.
I can move
Actually,
out.
you can't vote for her.
Why?
You don't live in Hillsborough County.
Oh.
You better move.
Oh,
You better
man.
Oh, shit, that's right. I
Yeah,
live in
you
Pasco.
cannot vote for her.
Oh, wait, are you on that Lutz line?
Trinity.
No, I'm on
Trinity.
Trinity. I actually live
Well,
in
Newport Richie, but whatever.
Wow,
It's Trinity,
you are
yeah.
so dead to me.
It's
right
okay.
now.
I'm pretty sure I can find a dead guy and do a mail-in vote.
I'm on the cusp. I'm in Wesley Chapel. I'm literally a mile from County Line Road. So
Yeah.
I'm still in Hillsborough.
Yeah.
You can claim me
I
as
mean, a lot of
dependent.
people that are like that. Lutz, Wesley Chapel. They're like, I didn't
Yeah.
realize that
There's
some of them are in
stack
Pasco
close.
and some of
Yeah.
them are in Hillsborough.
I was off
Like
of
you're
Lewis.
literally just a mile away from being in Hillsborough County.
Actually, I'm in Trinity, which is 3 different counties all in one. They have Pasco,
That's why they call it
Hillsborough, and
Trinity.
Pinellas.
Yep.
That's
That's
why
why
they
they call it Trinity.
That's why they call it Trinity. Is three
Tri-county,
Yeah.
Trinity, the Trinity.
That I did not know.
You didn't know that? That's
No, I
why.
don't know why.
You
I
got
know.
to check up on your
That's funny.
Pasco race and see what judges are running in Pasco so you can be an informed voter.
No, man, I'm only doing it for, if Christine's running, I'll do it, but
Well, that means that
That's
you
it.
live in Hillsborough
I do.
because that's the only way you can run for that office, right?
That's right.
Are you like South Tampa, North Tampa,
Yes.
Wesley?
So I've been downtown for the last 12.
You live in downtown?
hey, be
Tampa?
careful, man. There
Probably.
could be some creepers
Yeah, because some
online
creepers,
trying to
yeah.
get Christine,
Oh, I'm just talking
bro.
about general area.
And I just moved
Yeah, downtown.
very recently.
Yeah,
Holy-
far
To
away
an
from
undisclosed location.
To an
undisclosed location.
Did you
The
like living in
Caribbean island.
downtown?
I loved it.
Me, yeah, I
Oh
would.
my God.
Honestly,
Harbor Island, yeah.
and talk about right now how
Oh,
much
talking about
with
Harbor Island.
with public screen wise and that new
Oh.
building they put up right there.
So good.
How crazy was it? For the longest time, I didn't know that Columbia Cafe was right behind
the
that
museum.
building. Yeah, right
Yes.
next to the
Are you
museum.
kidding me?
Yes.
They don't have a full menu.
No. I
but-
knew where it was at. I'm saying, are you serious? You didn't know? Bro,
I mean,
it's
only
been there
till
for
like
like
3
fucking
years
10
ago.
years. 10 years, bro.
But you know, my favorite thing to
10
do
years.
on my spare time is
is
to
forget
walk.
where you came from?
Scoot.
No, basically walk down that Harbor Island, look at all the boats, and
Oh,
hope
yeah.
that one
River,
day
Riverwalk?
I can get the one that says liquidity.
No, well, we know.
You know
we
whose boat that is,
That's
right?
Ryan,
I do.
Ryan
I know I
McGinnis.
do.
Ryan McGinnis, yeah.
All right.
Well,
Ryan.
we
All
had a
Shout out to Ryan.
Shout out
McGinnis.
Ryan.
Yeah,
What's
we had
up,
we
man?
had him on
RPM,
our pod. We had him on our pod.
funny.
We
Yeah.
went to high school together.
Yeah, you
Really?
did too. Oh shit!
I didn't know
Ryan
that.
and I
Now,
were-
So he's
yeah.
from the Brandon
I
area.
did
then.
not
Yeah.
know.
Well, yeah.
Valrico, you mean?
No, we
Oh,
went to
man.
high school together.
Holy shit! Well, shout
So
out
you
to
know
Ryan
Ryan?
McGinnis.
Oh man, he's a very successful entrepreneur.
Man, he's a humble guy.
He's a
very good guy.
Yeah, he's a really good guy. I like
he's
him,
doing
man.
well with the Motor Enclave too.
I should
He,
hit
and
him
he
up,
was
huh?
able to let me sit inside his Rolls Royce.
He took my son
He told me
On
to
a
take my shoes
ride.
off, though.
in his McLaren.
Have you seen his race car?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, dude! Holy cow!
I told him,
That's funny.
man. I said,
He was that
"Dude,
cool in high school too.
I got
He was?
I got my Skyline
No.
coming."
No, just kidding.
I said, you
I
bring
love
out
you, Ryan.
whatever.
You've
Rainbow
always been cool.
McLarens, right? I'm gonna beat you.
What are you getting the
Yeah.
GTR?
Absolutely.
Oh my
Oh,
god! It's like
absolutely.
a $150,000 car.
That's all you need, Christine.
Oh,
just
man.
a little bit of.
It's perfect. I
know.
really liked it.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
I was
thank
crazy.
you.
The
Talking
first time I
about
tried it.
Classic?
No, because I tried this one, but I mean,
Shout out to David Reyes at St. Pete Distillery.
We're drinking this one actually,
Oh,
Wow.
but this one's good too.
but still, shout out to
Yeah, I
David
know, yeah.
Reyes.
Shout out to Chef David Reyes, man.
Chef David Reyes.
This shit
yeah.
is good.
So I mean, we were talking about Harbor Island downtown.
Yeah.
So you worked at Jackson's. Is there
anything else you want to tell her fucking creepers out there?
we
Well,
already
thank God
talked about this.
I'm not in Harbor Island anymore, but I will tell you my favorite thing to do on Harbor Island is to scoot around.
What does that mean? You said scooter
On
around.
the-
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the
I
electric
got a
scooters.
scooter. Okay, so I
Oh,
bought one because
right.
I was always using the ride share
Yeah, yeah.
scooters.
Oh, my God.
So I bought one and I pimped it out like with all Edwards Law, right? I put Edwards Law and I had rainbow lights and a cup holder and it was so awesome. And somebody stole it from me.
What?
The JW
How'd
Marriott.
they steal it?
Well,
I thought you needed a phone because I used to have one.
Well, I
and
bought
the
my
phone
own.
Connected.
Do you know
Yeah, I
how easy
Yeah.
it is?
I'm saying
these kids.
my own. I had to connect my phone in
Oh.
order to start it.
oh really?
Yeah.
And
these,
did you?
These kids have figured out, dude, a way
They
around that
hacked
with their
into their
phones.
phones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know that they pulled like 300 scooters out of the bay?
Hillsborough River.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No surprise.
Yeah, I saw
Man,
that.
they got
How
it on.
sad is that
You
though?
think
Like,
that-
what are you doing throwing them in the river?
Because
You know
people
what?
get
You need
drunk.
a judge on that. You need to say, hey, that's a crime.
That's
You know,
awful.
When our generation, man, was running, the party scene, we didn't do stupid stuff like that.
No,
This
we
new
were
generation now we're just throwing scooters.
I
in
know.
the
I was
middle
gonna
of
say.
the river.
I was like, "Where's your game at?" We were we were out on the clubs, running the game, closing the deals.
What's the game,
Yep.
mystery man?
Huh? Well, we were being good Christian people.
And it's funny how all of us now that we're owners of our respective company, we're all in real estate.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, we're in photography.
Of real estate.
favorite restaurant, Christine. Tell us right now. You're a Tampa native. What's your favorite restaurant in Tampa Bay? Including,
wait.
Well, let's include
Now?
St. Pete.
Now,
You
right?
said Tampa
And
Bay. Tampa Bay.
20 years ago.
Oh yeah, now and 20 years ago.
Well, how could it change?
I'll give
Wait,
you.
but
Oh,
you're
there was a
20.
lot
That
of
would mean
stuff.
you were a newborn.
I'll give you Burns 10 years ago.
Oh, all day.
Yeah.
I've never been.
Burns, yeah, man,
It's
they've
not that-
changed.
It's hard to get in.
They're not the same, man.
It's not
It's
that
not
great.
this- I know.
It's not the same.
I'll tell you what I like. I like Eddie V's. Without
Eddie
a doubt,
V's.
Eddie V's stand down.
I
I
like
mean,
Eddie V's.
yeah, Eddie V's is good. The
Huh?
blue.
I'm running a campaign.
was it Blue
Everybody's
Point
good.
oysters.
Mm.
Man, get the lead right to your pencil.
It's a good way to play it. All right. Well, since she can't answer a question, Manny.
Wow.
Favorite
Thank you. He gave me a
restaurant?
pass. He gave me a pass.
Man.
So do it. 10 years. Was it 20 years ago?
20 years ago.
When you were a newborn baby.
How old were you 20 years ago?
I was 22.
22. So he's 42.
So we'll talk mid 2000s.
This guy always trying to get everybody.
Do you guys remember before cheap? Okay.
Sweet
yes,
tomatoes.
yes. No,
Mangroves.
before cheap.
I mean,
Are you talking about
not
on-
mangroves?
Oh, you're talking about on
Uncle
fucking.
BJ.
No.
God, what the fuck was
The
it
little
called?
restaurant
I
that
know
was
you,
right
you used
there.
to want to eat there all the time when
Yes.
we were little.
It's off
It
of
was a
Howard.
tapas.
It's off of Howard.
Tapas.
and,
Ceviche.
Huh?
Ceviche.
No, bro, no.
It was right
It
where
was
cheap was.
ceviche.
It's
They
right
had the
where
little
cheap-
calamari.
yeah.
Yes.
It was same
What the
place
hell
as
was it
cheap was at.
called, man?
What was
Yeah.
Come
that
on, bro.
place
You know
called?
exact where cheap is.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
Howard
St.
and
Reyes.
St. Gre-
Was it St. Rios?
Yep.
Favorite restaurant, really?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Oh, damn. That
They
was
had
weird.
those
I
little
never heard of
calamaris
that.
with the garlic and red pepper.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
They had the best tapas there, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, the,
The
tapas were
owner?
good. We went there a lot, actually.
Mhm.
What'd you think about the
Can't
one
believe
you
I-
said, ceviche?
I like that pizza place too. That was
No, was it ceviche?
where your old apartment used to be at. What was it, Bella's? Right?
Oh, Bella's.
Yeah, Bella's was dope too back then.
Bella's.
Yeah.
I don't think I remember those.
I moved apartments to be closer to Bahasa because we used to hang out at Bahasa all the time.
Damn,
when
I
we were
remember
little.
hearing that all the time.
God, that's
Bahasa,
really
man.
long.
Where was
Yeah.
Bahasa's in South Tampa? Also,
Yeah, off of Kennedy.
That was
off Kennedy.
Kennedy now.
Damn,
right,
I
is
remember
where
hearing
Bahasa-
Bahasa
that's
all the
where-
time. When
That's
did
Bahasa.
We used to go there all the time, and I moved
Same
to an
building.
apartment. And the reason I got that apartment because I was like, oh, I can walk to Bahasa, because that's what we need to be thinking about. You know, like, how close am I to the bar?
Well,
You also worked at Jackson, so it was like
Yeah, and then I ended up coming
too.
back. Yeah, clearly all my life decisions, other than running for judge, have been based on where the bar is.
Bars or restaurants.
I like your thought process. This is a real winner right here.
So, all right.
I mean, okay, Manny, you said Eddie V's, but really, what is your favorite restaurant?
Wait, he forgot to do the present.
Yeah,
Manny-
The
present.
present.
Presently-
Oh, present. Yeah.
It's tougher.
It's still around, right? And it will always be my favorite. Doesn't matter what year.
Donatello Averrones.
Mykonos and Tarpon Springs.
Yeah,
Mykonos.
Mykonos. Those type of
Dope.
springs, though.
Mykonos? Oh,
Yeah.
Charlotte, right around there.
Best Greek food you will ever
Is that by the
have.
I
Sponge
do
Dogs?
like Mykonos.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Wait,
Oh my
is
God.
it?
It's at the Sponge
So it's
Dogs.
not Hellas and it's not Rusty Bell.
Hellas is the bakery down, right?
No, you're
No,
talking
they
about the
still have
blue
a
and white.
restaurant.
The blue and white building.
Yeah.
Blue and white
It's-
building.
It's smaller.
On
It's
the water.
tiny. It's one story, but it's blue
No,
and
it's
white.
across the street.
Yeah. It's not on the water. It's here's the sponge dock across the street. It's
Yep.
right there. It's where our parents love to go, bro.
I thought it was Hellas.
It's small.
Yeah, bro.
Oh
It's
my
small.
god.
It's in the same building. Right?
Yeah.
What the
The
F?
same owner owned it
No.
until he passed away a couple years ago.
They have phenomenal Greek food, man.
Oh, dude, best
Phenomenal.
ever, man.
The baklava
So that's your
there.
favorite. That's your favorite place right now. If it's a treat.
Still, all day.
All right.
Wow.
So right now, I think I would pick
Penthouse.
I love the penthouse too.
Free lunch. You know?
What was it? The prime rib over there, right?
Yeah. You know all about the prime rib, right?
Guys, I told you this a million times. I'm recovering.
Well, I know a good substance abuse.
Damn, I was thinking. I mean, for lunch, definitely Bazille. Bazille for me, like,
Bazile's
is a
good for
treat for
lunch,
lunch.
yeah,
Be
I
like
like
crab
lunch,
bisque is
yeah.
just fucking phenomenal.
Shout
And
out.
then-
I've
to
never
all
been
the
there. Where's
people
that
out
at?
It's in the
It's in
International
Nordstrom.
Mall.
Okay.
It's in
Oh,
Nordstrom.
I
Yeah.
have been there actually.
Yeah, it's so good. And that's
And
for
they
lunch.
just extended their
I'm not gonna
time.
go dinner there. Sorry, guys. But lunch, you guys are fabulous. You know.
Yeah, we're really
Shout out
good.
to
Matt.
Matt Connor.
Bro, don't say his last name. Shout out
Oh,
Matt.
you know what?
Yeah.
Let me give a shout out back to Renzo's too, man.
Renzo's. Oh
We
yeah.
got a Renzo's right
man.
there.
They got good
Yep.
steak.
Yeah.
Skirt steak.
Yep.
Skirt steak.
They're
is good.
Argentinian.
Yeah.
It's been my
That's-
brother forever, man. Too. Gotta
Yeah.
love that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to
All
think.
right,
of,
hey, we only got 2 minutes left.
Okay. Okay, then I'll go with. All right.
Mickey D's.
I'm a whore for Eddie V's. I'm a whore for Eddie V's. But I mean, I've never had it before, but now
You've had Eddie V's.
No, I know, but I mean the 10-year mark thing.
Ah.
10-year mark.
Yeah.
Oh well,
Chuck E. Cheese and then Eddie
Bro,
V's.
you were 29. 20
Why are you
years
putting
ago.
out my age, dog? I'm trying to look younger now.
I'm just kidding.
Anyways,
So
Chuck E.
we got-
Cheese
we got
and
1
Eddie
minute.
V's.
We got 1 minute, bro.
What
Okay.
about Iverones? Have you guys ever been to
Iverones.
Iverones?
Ah,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Donatello's is good.
That
too.
is
Donatello's,
wow.
yeah.
You know what? That is very underrated. I've
Yep.
has always been.
Anyways, so we do final words at the end of the show. We always like to
kinda
tell
sounds like
everybody a
you're
little bit of
violent.
motivational, a little bit of love to the audience to see how you can do the best you can and make your dreams come true instead of everybody else's. You got to break free. So, Christine, what do you have for the audience? I mean, to become, go from an attorney to now running for a judge.
Bartender, attorney, judge,
That's true.
Okay, hospitality.
hospitality.
Have some decency. Hospitality, attorney to judge. How do you do it? And what kind of motivational, inspirational words can you tell the audience that got you through the tough times? And even with Uncle Bobby, I mean, that was a fucking 1% to get Uncle Bobby out, and you did it. That's a judge to me.
I don't even know how to.
It's a loaded
Summarize it in 20 minutes.
Well, I will say this: my dream came true today. Being able to hang out with you guys, Manny and Sean. Thank you so much.
She is.
Thank you so much
is
for
it?
having me on
She's a
because you know what?
charmer.
I get to do a lot of cool things on
Yeah.
the campaign trail, but this has been a real treat.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
you guys have been so warm and welcoming and fun.
Yeah.
And I needed a little bit of that.
Yeah, I mean,
And I think, going back to like what keeps me going is this, honestly, like being able to be with my friends and hang out and be reminded of why we continue to do the things that we do. I'm inspired just by hanging out with you guys because I realize that we're all trying to do better and get somewhere, and we're open to like hearing other people and what they've got going on, and we want to learn and we want to be educated, and we're vibrant in that way. So, you know, that opportunity really fuels me. Like I'll leave here and I'm inspired. Like I feel like I could go to like take over the world because you guys have just been.
That's the most charming thing I've ever heard.
Actually, that is the nicest thing anybody's said on this podcast right now.
You need to run for mayor.
Next step.
I truly mean it. You guys have been so kind to me, and getting an opportunity to hang out with you. And you know, would I have gotten this opportunity if I wasn't running for office? I mean, maybe if we met at a bar or something, but.
I mean, you would have. If you would have wanted to be on this, we would have been like, absolutely, Christine.
No, but I mean,
we give everybody the opportunity because we feel like everybody can make their dream happen.
Say something different though.
No, I'm just, this door was opened and I'm glad I walked through it because it gave me an opportunity to be hanging out with you guys this afternoon, and I hope to see you guys more often.
All right,
I
like
really
it.
You made my afternoon. Thank you.
Yeah, man, hell yeah.
I just want to say this because it wasn't said. You were a Tampa Club 40 under 40, which is a huge deal.
Is it?
I don't know. Is it?
I mean, maybe.
Hey, I was a Tampa Bay Business Journal 30 under 30.
This
years
year,
ago.
I turned 40. I'll be 40 in a couple weeks.
Oh, shit. Damn, so we're right there.
You're right there.
I'm turning 37 this year.
I'm hoping that this is a really, really good year for me.
And it is going to be a good year. Dirty 40.
I feel it.
It used to be dirty 30.
If nothing else, if nothing else, I will have a milestone birthday.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
I'm
about.
hoping there's other things to come.
Well, there's going to be a celebration from you winning the
Big
judge
one.
seat, and we're going to.
Oh my God! Would you be the youngest judge in Hillsborough County?
No.
No.
Ashley Moody, I think, won her first seat in like at 32, 33.
Holy
Wow,
shit.
really?
Wow.
Wow, that is young.
What was she doing?
Judging.
Being a lawyer, bro.
That's how she won.
I know, that's what I was saying. She's obviously well educated, and
Well, at least some of us are.
anyways, vote for Christine Edwards for
Yes.
judge,
Whoa,
seat
you-
11, Hillsborough County. I'm gonna get to Manny.
Oh, okay.
Calm the fuck down. All right, Manny. What do you want to leave the audience with? You know, as a guy hanging a
The
6
microphone
footer,
is blocking your face, by the way.
So, what I want to leave with the audience is this.
6 inches from the floor.
You're so stupid.
I'm not going to say anything. I am dying to say
So, as busy as I am, I have made the time to show as much dedication and whatever I can to the right person for that seat. So, if I could set some time aside, you know, everybody else needs to go set some time aside and go vote for Christine Edwards.
On August 20th.
On August 20th.
And massive gratitude to Manny, because I'll tell you what, like the campaign trails, it can be lonely sometimes because you're sort of in uncharted territory and you really get to see like who loves you and who comes out. This guy right here.
Are they local?
No, he's
And I appreciate you very, very, very much from the bottom of my heart, because like you have really not only have said that you were going to do things, you have put them in motion and you've made them happen. And I couldn't love you any more today than I did 20 years ago.
Thank you. Likewise.
Oh, shit.
All the reason to go vote for the right person.
Christine has the heart. She has the will, the work ethic. Don't be a fool.
The integrity.
Vote for Edwards. Thanks, Manny and Christine, for being on the podcast. It's been so much fun. I think Sean's had a good time, and that's usually pretty surprising. So, thank you so much.
About law.
Yeah, no. Thank you so much. Make sure you keep following Happy Hour Holidaze on all the Instagram, Facebook pages. Check out all our reels and vote for us on Best of the Bay.